Good morning, everyone. It is October the 10th in sunny Comox here, no rain in sight. It is Tech for Senior. I'm Ron Brown. I'll be your host today. We have a big show for you. Today, we're going to start with, of course, I'll be introducing our panel. Along with following this, Bob has his security news update. Bob's going to talk about the new Gmail look. And then we have a very special guest. Mike Ungerman is going to talk about his part 5 in the final series on solar panels. It will be solar energy for your home. I'm going to talk about fixing your videos with Google Photos. And Hewie's going to talk about traffic cams. And we're going to finish this off with Ray's, of course, music segment. And that will be our show today, and it'll be for the next hour. So welcome. If you're watching this on a YouTube replay, thank you for watching. If you're here live, thank you for watching. And if you are watching this on a YouTube short, just click the link and you'll take you right to the show. Today on our premiere service, we have, of course, this is Security Month, right, Bob? It's I think it's October is Security Month. You can unmute yourself.
It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month.
Cybersecurity Awareness Month. So we'll be talking in the what is OAuth? We talked about this before, Bob and I. Bob helped me with this, and it's getting rid of your passwords and talking about what OAuth is, and that will be on our. That's OAuth. You all use it all the time. That's when you click and you log into another service using Google or Facebook credentialing. So we'll talk all about that. Huey's going to talk about Site of the Day, which was an interesting site that he found, of course, last year. And I'm going to talk about navigating around your Chromebook. If you have a Chromebook and you want to learn how to navigate around it, we're going to talk about that. So those are the three items we're going to have today on our premiere video, which will occur at 1:30 after our Q&A. The link I'll be putting in the chat, and I also will be, it went out in our Saturday newsletter. And if you haven't already subscribed to that, we have 2 newsletters a week. On the Saturday newsletter, we send out a list of what is in our Monday show at the agenda. You can have a look at that. And also in that, we list the premiere event and the link for the premiere event. We have a busy week. Not only do we have today's show, but we also have a show on Thursday. And we're going to, we talk about all the news of the week. So we'll be talking about that on this coming Thursday, and the usual gang will be there. Now, just to remember, we always have people logging in on Thursday to our Zoom meeting and wondering where it is, where the show is. Well, it's not a Zoom meeting. So this is the only Zoom meeting we have is today. So if you are wanting to participate or listen to the Thursday show, we broadcast that out to our YouTube channel or to our Facebook page. And to get to those 2 sites, if you're having trouble with that, we have big buttons on our website, take me here and take me there, and it'll take you right to where you want to go. Just click the button and it'll take you there. So that's how you get to those 2 sites to listen to the shows. But of course, we tape them all anyway, and they're all on our YouTube channel, and you can certainly watch them if you miss them. I think that's about all I had to say. Let me introduce everybody. Hewie, let me introduce Hewie. First of all, Hewie's got his power back on. He had a very successful WinSig yesterday, his show, and he's getting caught up with being without a power was a bit of a pain in the butt, wasn't it? Unmute yourself there.
Yeah, it sure was. 7 days without any power. Finally got to do some grocery shopping and fill in my refrigerator a little bit. But I missed a lot of things that I normally would have, like butter and a few other things. So I got to go back out probably this afternoon or tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm doing a presentation for Senior Planet, and I put the link in the chat box. It's going to be on Chromebooks for seniors. So if you're interested in that, or it has some people that might be interested, by all means, give them the link. And it'll take.
Hewie and I do a learning Chromebooks session once a month. It's a 1 hour show, and we talk about it. We've been doing it now for 2 years. So if you want to participate, it's free, but you do need to register. The registration's on our website. Just register for that, and we'll be doing that at the end of this month, eh?
Yep.
Well, that's great. So tell me now, was the lack of food or the lack of internet, which was worse when you didn't have power?
Lack of internet.
I knew that was going to be the answer.
Actually, our clubhouse in our community had power.
Right.
It's on a different grid or something, and we did not lose power at the clubhouse. So volunteers cook breakfast and dinner every day, and then sometimes even lunch. So there was no lack of food.
There you go. There you go. And of course, we have Bob Gustitius is with us today. He's going to give us the security news update. Bob, lots of bad guys in the news this week.
There's always bad guys in the news, unfortunately. I'd like to do one update a week on just the good things that happen. That would be nice for a change.
Yeah. That'd be good. So everything's okay in your net. Oh, how's the tower coming? Or do you go out and count the number of sticks they put on the tower, or what's happening?
Well, you have to wait now for stuff to cure. They dug an 18-foot deep hole because it's an 80-foot tower that's going up. But when you pour concrete that goes down 18 feet, it's a heck of a long way, and it takes a long time to cure. So the tower itself won't be for another month. And then who knows what else they have to do, but we will eventually have a working tower within eyesight of where I live.
And that is going to give you fast internet.
That's why we're right. At that point, I think I'll be able to negotiate with Comcast, and they'll actually be able to do something for me at a decent price.
There you go. There you go. And Ray, how the heck are you doing? You're awful quiet today.
Oh, I guess I am. I had an interesting experience with I have one of those cyber power UPS, and I have two of them actually, and on one of them the battery was dying. So rather than buying a new one, I decided, let me change the battery. And I had done this years ago on an older model that was kind of involved. Today, on the newer model that I replaced it, there's just a sliding door. You take out one screw, you slide it down, take out the old battery, put in the new one, slide it back, done in about 10 minutes. Couldn't be easier. Really?
Wow. Excellent. That's good news.
Yeah, that's one of the items I'm looking forward to. The Prime Day is a UPS. Mine lasted almost 30 seconds, and I've replaced the battery 2 or 3 times. So I think it's time for a new one.
All right. And of course, our special guest today, Mike Ungerman. Welcome, Mike. I see you have some new solar panels on your roof.
And the presentation will tell you how I got
all those. They're very good. Yes, that's excellent. You always look so relaxed, like you have a big smile, like you're just making energy and the money is flowing in.
energy usage and tax credits.
Energy usage and tax, very good. Well, all right. We should get the show going because we have
here too. Yeah, Bill James just joined us.
Did he? Where the heck is Bill? I didn't see him.
He's here.
Bill, put your hand up so you'll come up to the top so I can see you. Anyway, Bill James, of course, is there. He is. Hi, there you go.
Hello. Sorry, I'm late. I was still teaching those Windows 11 classes.
Well, we appreciate that, and you're going to be on. You'll be all ready to go for your Windows 11 tips that you're going to do for us, right?
Today?
No, not today. No.
Oh,
in the future.
yes.
In the future, yeah, we
remember. In the future, yes.
Yes. Had you nervous there, didn't I?
Well, I'm going to have to come up with something rather quickly.
Yeah. Oh, Bill, I wanted to show you something. Can you? Let me see. Can you see? Where'd you go? Are you still there?
There.
Okay. Can you see my?
I do. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's my Ember cup. I had it. It's all charged up, and I've got hot coffee in it. I'm enjoying my Ember cup. Thank you so much. My wife says that's it. No more Bill James gadgets. But I snuck this one in, and I really like it. It's cool. It works good.
Yes, I have to get mine. Yeah. I'm
There you
glad
go.
you're enjoying that.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
I thought that was really good, but
Yeah.
well, be surprised tomorrow.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm not going to show it to my wife. You know,
Maybe
Anyway.
maybe it'll be an expensive one.
All right. Okay. We'll wait and see. All right. Bob, are you ready to take it away? We got to get the show going here.
Here is the Avast Security News Roundup for the week ending October 7th, 2022. 2K warns users their info has been stolen following a breach of its help desk. Game company 2K on Thursday warned users to remain on the lookout for suspicious activity across their accounts following a breach last month that allowed a threat actor to obtain email addresses, names, and other sensitive information provided to 2K support team. The breach occurred on September 19th when the threat actor illegally obtained system credentials belonging to a vendor 2K uses to run its help desk platform. 2K warned users a day later that the threat actor used unauthorized access to send some users emails that contain malicious links. The company warned users not to open any emails sent by its online support address or click on any links in them. If users already clicked on links, 2K urged them to change all passwords stored in their browsers. On Thursday, after an outside party completed a forensic investigation, 2K sent an unknown number of users an email warning them that the threat actor was able to obtain some of the personal information they supplied to help desk personnel. Read more at Ars Technica. FCC cracks the whip on robocalls. The Federal Communications Commission has given regional U.S. voice service providers Acabis, Cloud4, Global UC, Horizon Technology Group, Moores Communications, Sharon Telephone Company, and SW Arkansas Telecommunications and Technology 14 days to prove they have taken action to mitigate robocalls on their networks before they are pulled from the robocall mitigation database, which would prevent their traffic from being carried by intermediate and terminating providers. Without being able to hand off their call traffic to other networks, traffic providers by those 7 companies would never reach the called party. This is a new era, said FCC Chairwoman Jessica Rosenworcel in a recent press release. If a provider doesn't meet the obligations under the law, it now faces expulsion from America's phone networks. Fines alone aren't enough. Providers that don't follow our rules and make it easy to scam consumers will now face swift consequences. Read more at the FCC website. Biden commissions an AI Bill of Rights. With AI becoming more and more a part of America's daily life via Alexa, Siri, or any number of digital services, President Joe Biden's administration has put forth a blueprint for an AI Bill of Rights aimed at protecting the public from harmful bias or discrimination. Noting that current systems have proven unsafe or biased, the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy intends the AI Bill of Rights to guide AI implementation based on 5 core pillars of safety. Critics argue, however, that because it is not law, the document would be largely ineffective. Read more at the whitehouse.gov website. Think attacks with weaponized open source software. Last week, Microsoft Security Threat Intelligence reported in a post that it had detected a wide range of social engineering campaigns using weaponized, legitimate open source software. The compromised software includes PuTTY, Kitty, TypeVNC, Sumatra PDF Reader, and MUPDF subliminal recording. The report goes on to say the organization identified the bad actor as Zinc, also known as Lazarus, the North Korean-sponsored cybercriminal group behind the 2014 Sony hack. Zinc seems to be targeting employees in organizations across multiple industries, including media, defense and aerospace, and IT services in the US, UK, India, and Russia. For more, see Ars Technica. Microsoft Exchange attack mitigation not enough. According to CSO, 2 zero-day exploits that affected Microsoft Exchange Server 2013, Exchange Server 2016, and Exchange Server 2019 are being actively abused to trigger remote code execution despite the mitigation advice put forward by Microsoft. The company advises users to deploy a blocking rule with a PowerShell script, but researchers point out that the blocking rule, as it was written, could be easily bypassed. Microsoft also provided instructions on how to disable remote PowerShell access for users and offered detection and threat hunting guidance for the current attacks. CISA issues directive to improve vulnerability detection. This week, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency issued the Improving Asset Visibility and Vulnerability Detection on Federal Networks Directive, which requires federal civilian agencies to regularly report software vulnerabilities. Threat actors continue to target our nation's critical infrastructure and government networks to exploit weaknesses within unknown, unprotected, or underprotected assets, said CISA Director Jen Easterly. Knowing what's on your network is the first step for any organization to reduce risk. See the full news release for more. This week's must-read on the Avast blog. While BeReal's stated intention is good, there are some major potential privacy issues with it. Here's what Jeff Williams, Avast's global head of security, found when he took a closer look at the social network. Read the article at the link listed, or watch my video on this topic by following the YouTube link. And that wraps up this week's Avast Security News Roundup. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye. Next, we're going to talk about the new Gmail look. When I opened my Gmail this morning, I was greeted with a message to accept the new look of Gmail. And once I accepted, this is what I was presented with: a cleaner Gmail interface. And as you can see, the default setting concentrates on your Gmail. It gives you more information about the incoming emails. The menu that was along the right-hand side is no longer front and center. On the left side, you only have information about the mail. You can open up the chat, your spaces, meet, and this one on top shows you the main menu, which, unless you're about to compose an email or do any of the other things, really isn't that important. But if you need it, just select it, and there it is. It's back in front of you. Don't need it anymore? Hit it again. It's gone. Also, the menu that's on the right-hand side, this little arrow at the bottom right, when you select it, it opens up your menu on the right for your calendar, keep, your tasks, your contacts, and of course if you want to add other things into Gmail. If you no longer need any of these items, just hit that little icon at the bottom and the menu disappears. Most things on top are still the same. One thing available right now, in the main settings, if you select them, you'll notice that should you not like this new cleaner interface, what's available currently, and eventually I guess this will go away, is a simple button to go back to the original view. So if you don't like the new cleaner look, just hit that go back to the original view. You'll be back to where you were before you decided to try the new look. I'm personally happy with the new look because it gives me a chance to concentrate on the mail itself. I get more information right off the bat when I have an incoming email. Just a quick look at the new look in Gmail. Let me know what you think. I think this is a great improvement. After all, Gmail should be about your email. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Good news. Thanks, Bob. That was great. I enjoy the new Gmail look as well. I think they've done a good job with that.
Yeah, and it makes things bigger because you're not squeezing so many other things into it. And when things are bigger, it's better for those of us who need a little help with our eyes.
I call it a bigger screen.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks so much for doing that. And now we have, of course, what everyone is waiting for. We're going to have our final version of course, our solar panels and for your home. Mike Ungerman, thank you so much for doing that today. And I'm going to play that now for you. Mike, will you be able to answer any questions in the Q&A later on? Will you be here?
Yes, I'll stick around for that.
Oh, excellent. Super. All right.
Hi, I'm Mike Ungerman of the Central Florida Computer Society. I installed the solar photovoltaic system you see in this photo on my residence in Florida in 2 phases between 2017 and 2019. In parts 1 through 4 of this series, we covered the technology of producing photovoltaic energy from a system for individual homeowners to place on their roof or on a rack located on their property. We also looked at some resources to enable us to determine if solar electric production would be efficient, potentially affordable for our residences. Now let's take a look at how I went solar starting back in 2017. In a previous presentation, I reviewed how analyzing your utility bills can start you on your path to a decision on whether to invest in a solar PV system. Here again is one of my utility bills from 2017. Note that it's above $400 a month and that I have considerable energy usage above 1,000 kilowatt hours per month. This is the highest tier, and it's a target I wanted to reduce. At the same time, my long-term investments were not producing significant current income. Switching to aggressive income-based investments were producing very little interest or dividends without also increasing the risk of capital. Running the numbers for an investment in a solar PV system indicated to me that I could profit from this course of action through short-term savings of from $100 to $300 per month on my utility bill, an initial offset of investment capital by federal tax credits, and long-term recoupment of investment with positive cash flow after 7 to 10 years. As a technically oriented person for most of my life, the concept of producing my own electricity and selling excess back to the utility system intrigued me. Having watched the technology of solar PV develop over the years from a concept to prototypes to affordable production convinced me that it was time to make the jump. I had considered solar early on to reduce my electric bill. My first focus was installing a solar hot water collector on my roof and an 80-gallon hot water tank in my garage. At that time, it reduced my already high utility bill by about $40 a month. In early 2017, I answered a knock on my door by a solar company soliciting our neighborhood. Against my better judgment, I let them in and we discussed going solar. The end result was their proposal to install a full array of solar panels
with a static standalone inverter for approximately $65,000. So, following a thank you very much, but no thanks, I was sparked to do my own investigation using resources much as I've mentioned in my previous presentations. I did online research of local solar companies, eventually making appointments with 2 of them for estimates. I also attended at the formation meeting of the local county solar co-op under the auspices of the Solar United Neighbors nonprofit organization I also previously mentioned. Here's their link. Subsequently, I did join the co-op and was asked to participate in the selection process from competitive bids that they received. In the next 2 slides, I'll review the competitive bidding process with the factors that we considered for our selections. Each of the bidders were required to respond to the items listed here and were allowed to provide any additional supporting information they wanted. For those of you seriously considering a solar PV system now, I'd suggest reviewing this video of the presentation at a later date, pausing the presentation and noting the factors for your own analysis processes. In this list, the focus is on the providers and their qualifications. Selecting a reliable and responsive provider is a major part of obtaining, installing, and supporting your solar PV system. The last thing you want to do is pick a provider primarily on price and then find that they are out of business and you have no source of support. Following the co-op selection process, a provider was selected. Participants. I contacted that provider and requested an on-site inspection and proposal. They visited us, inspected the house, including an analysis using their software of the available locations for solar PV panels. The initial quote they gave us was to provide a complete offset of our high usage monthly utility bills, and it was approximately $45,000. Once again, too high for me to accept without taking out a loan, which I really didn't want to do. So we do what we mostly do when we go buy expensive stuff. I gave them a counter offer. I said, what can you provide me for $15,000? All in. That did not include the federal tax credit, which the previous company's estimators wanted to include. Knowing that what I would receive would not offset my entire utility bill, I received an acceptable quote. So here's what I purchased. 25 REC Twin Peaks 2 Series 290 watt solar panels, subsequently modified to 26 panels of 285 watts each when the 290s were not available at the time of installation. The total actually wound up being more in terms of kilowatt production, 7,410, than I would have gotten with the first quote. Then we got 11 AP Systems YC500 dual channel microinverters. Again, subsequently increased to 12 when we increased the number of solar panels by 1 because of the higher output not being available. Then 1 AP Systems Energy Communications Unit, or ECU. It's a communications controller via power line protocols to the installed microinverters and receives power production statistics and makes them available to their energy monitoring application, which is available on the web and mobile devices. The rack mounting system should be more than just a series of attachments to your roof. In my case, I was offered an upgrade to the Snap and Rack roof mounting system, which I accepted. As you can see from these pictures, it integrates the mount itself with a system for mounting microinverters or optimizers with the wiring connections. It also eases the connection of the panel to the rack, allowing access for installation, maintenance, and potential removal and replacement as required. In addition to the major components just shown, the quote I received included all installation materials to include a solar service panel on the exterior wall of my home that I specified had to support up to 2 times the number of panels of this present installation for future expansion. The quote included all installation labor, engineering design for the installation, to include professional engineering drawings, which were submitted along with the necessary required county permits. And my warranties included a 10-year roof penetration and workmanship warranty, a 20-year snap and rack mounting warranty, 25 years REC solar panel warranty, 25 years AP system microinverter warranty, and 3-year warranty with AP systems ECUs. So I got very close to the $15,000 price I had set for myself, and the co-op's negotiated discounts played a significant factor in what I was able to get for that amount. I chose not to finance this installation, considering my previous analysis of what I might expect to save on monthly fixed costs and what I wasn't earning on my savings. I invested a portion of my savings to purchase this installation. I documented the solar PV installation at my home, which consisted of 2 parts: a physical installation of the major equipment and wiring from the roof to the side of my home, then an electrical installation which followed the physical by several days. Let's take a look at my Google Photos album documenting this installation, and you can revisit these with the links shown here. So you can see the contractor that we went with. Their team showed up, and here's some of the initial preparations they're making. You can note the roof space that they're going to put on the right and on the left side. I have a skylight that they had to consider. I've got some fans they had to consider, some vents they had to consider, and the solar hot water collector. You can see them working up there, basically starting to find the studs in the rafters and the joists, and then to drill in their pilot holes. And now they're starting their drilling. Here you can see the first group of the installation studs, along with part of the snap and rack mounting system bases. Once the bases are in, you can see that they've got these base plates, and on these plates they put a whole bunch of mastic, and then they flip them over and slide them under the shingles. And here they are installed. Now the snap and rack assembly itself attaches to the mounts. They're also drilling a hole for a junction box, which is going to pass the wiring through into the Atlantic once they collect everything, all the wires from the microinverters. Here's the snap and rack system now installed, and some of the microinverters are already going in. Meanwhile, down on the ground, the wires are being laid out and prepared. Photovoltaic power source wiring has to be fed from the junction boxes on the roof down to the side of the house. You can see just how long some of these cables have to be. And some of the cables now have already been installed. Here's the junction box that I mentioned, with the cables feeding to it and going into the attic. Now the panels are prepared. Backside of the panels actually only have 2 connections. Because it's a snap and rack, the panels themselves don't have to be screwed to the rack. They snap in and lock in place with just 2 or 3 mounting bolts that secure them and provide the necessary wind resistance. First assembly is just about complete. Second assembly is going in. And second assembly is just about complete. When they finish, all the wires have been fished to a single point through the house, and the tubing comes out on the side of the house. Here's what the physical assembly looks like. Looking at it, you can see the 9 units that are up here and the remainder of the units that are over here on this side. This is a south-facing roof, and this is an east-facing roof. Once that is done, several days later, actually a week later, an electrical installation has to be done by an electrical team. So again, here is the wires coming off the roof, and here is what my entrance panel looked like before they started. Now we start installing various components. This is the main entrance panel. They're putting a shut off so that you can shut everything off, getting that wired in, putting in the necessary extension boxes, putting in its own dedicated grounding rod, part of the shut-off assembly. Now we get a panel of circuit breakers for each one of the banks of microinverters. The AP Systems ECU, master on-off switch, which is also fused. Here's the box that the ECU is going to go in. An overview of all the new components. And now the wiring is complete and just waiting for the power meter to be replaced by the utility company. ECU is on and showing that it's connected to the panels and that electricity is being produced. The payoff for my solar PV system was in the reduction of my utility bill, as seen here. Basically $200 a month, although I had a number of energy credits applied as a result of getting solar. Fast forward to 2019, another solar co-op was being formed in our county. I was contacted and asked if I would like to be on the selection committee again, and I agreed. The process in the previous slides was essentially duplicated, but along the way I decided I wanted to get my utility bill to $100 or less if I could, and still stay below my $15,000 target to do so. The result was that I contacted the winning bidder and negotiated additional panels, now physically larger and more efficient solar cells. Their quote was well below my target price. For the same reasons already discussed, we went ahead and installed 13 additional panels and a second ECU, which was required because there were different communications protocols now with the new panels. Here's a picture of the combined systems once the second phase was installed in 2019. You can see the differences in the panel design. The newer ones contain more cells and are longer. The full array is on the back of our home facing away from the street, so I wasn't that concerned about having all the panels look alike. And the payoff for the combined system was the reduction of my utility bill as seen here. Now, more than $300 a month from before solar PV. There was a dip in May. We had taken a couple-week vacation and shut just about everything but the air conditioning off while we were gone. I did want to include a quick note on the latest changes to the U.S. federal income tax credit for solar PV. Homeowners will now be able to take a 30% tax credit off the cost of their installation for systems installed between this year and the end of 2032. The credit then steps down to 26% in 2033 and 22% in 2034. The bill includes tax credits for home battery storage energy systems at the same percentage for solar systems, something I haven't yet considered. Overall, I have no regrets about going solar PV. If you can afford it, I believe it's a great investment. And if you can qualify for financing, consider the recovery of your expenditures in the light of the continuing federal tax incentives, and then the future payoff. And so, Next up, electric power vehicles. One of the uses of my solar PV system is the free charging of my Kia Niro plug-in. And here you can see the cable that I have attached to it. Stay tuned.
Thank you, Mike.
As we sit here now, the house is currently being powered by solar energy, and I'm sending energy back to the grid.
Thanks, Mike. I know there'll be lots of questions for you. That was a very thorough presentation. Thank you so much for doing that. We look forward to your EV presentation as well. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. It's October the 8th on Vancouver Island in Comox, British Columbia. It is a gorgeous day and beautiful October. I decided to go out and mow the grass to show my friends how wonderful it is. It's very unusual that I'll be mowing the grass in October, so I wanted to go out and do a short clip and show everyone how warm it is in October. So here we are, and as you can see from the video, there's a big error that I made. How do you fix this? Let me show you. Now, obviously, we have to turn the image to make it look correct. As you can see, most basic photo editors, it's very easy. You can turn it to the left, you can turn it upside down, you can turn it right around. But remember, this isn't an image, this is a video. It's not so easy to turn a video because a video is made up of thousands of images. But one of the unique features of Google Photos, not found in very many other products, is that you can indeed easily turn a video. This is a very cool trick. Let me show you how it's done. The ability to turn a video in Google Photos can only be done with the Google Photos app. So this means that you can do it, of course, on an Android phone. You can do it on an iPhone. You can do it on an iPad and a Chromebook. But you cannot do it on a PC. Today I'll be showing you how to do it on my Pixel 6 phone and my iPad. Let's have a look. This is my Pixel 6 phone. Let's open Google Photos. Here we go. And here's the video we're going to play. Now, as you know, it needs to be turned. So what we're going to do is we're going to pause the video. I'm just going to click the pause button here. Now I'm going to come down to edit, and we're going to move over to crop. Let's move over to the crop button, and just above my finger you'll see another little button here. We're going to click this and it's going to turn the video for us. Now watch as we save a copy, and then I'm going to replay it, and you'll see that the aspect is now correct. That is so simple and easy to do on the Google Photos app. Let's have a look at my iPad now. We're going to open the video. And again, here you'll see we want to turn this. So I'm going to come up and we're going to tap the video, and we're going to stop this, and then I'm going to edit it. So we click the edit button, and again you'll see it opens up a sub menu, and we can click the crop. Now next to the crop we're going to come up to turn, and there we've just turned the video. And I'm just going to move the iPad down a bit. We're going to save it. I'm going to click the save button. We will now see the video right way up. Isn't that pretty cool? That's on my iPad. Now I'm going to show you as well how to trim your video, because at the beginning here we don't want this part of the video. So I'm going to delete that. So let's open the video. We're going to click edit. This is done on my iPad, but it is the same for Android and iPad. I'll only be demonstrating it on my iPad today. So as we come up now, we're going to come back to video. We don't go to the crop menu. We're going to come back to the video, and we're just going to take a slider bar and we're going to slide it along, and that will eliminate the first part of the video. So we're going to come down, and I want to just get a picture of me mowing the grass, not setting up. So we'll just slide that down, save, and now it starts from that point. So in this video, we've learned how to rotate our video in the Google Photos app. We've also learned how to trim our video. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. Remember that like and subscribe. Until we see you again, have a great day.
Traffic cameras, I'm Hewie Poplock. Recently, one of our local TV stations had some information about a traffic accident on their website and showed some live cameras of the traffic jams that it was creating. And so I went to where they were showing this, and it's a website called smarttrafficinfo.org. What it's showing here are a lot of cameras at various intersections in Sarasota and Manatee County. Let's take a look at what they show us. Let's take a look at one of the intersections. It's Cortez Road at US 41, which is 14th Street West. You'll see down here a live shot of what's going on. Let's make it full screen so you can see it better. I don't know if you noticed, but it just switched cameras. There's actually 4 or 5 cameras at this intersection, and every few seconds it will switch cameras to show you the traffic at that particular moment. These are live, and it's going to switch cameras, and it's showing a different direction. It's after 6 in the afternoon, so the sun's starting to go down a little bit, but you can see that there's traffic flowing in all directions and lots of traffic as well. If they had cameras like this in this area, what about in other areas? So I went searching, and I found out that the FDOT, or the Florida Department of Transportation, also has cameras throughout the state. And you can see here. So if we go and look at the Orlando area, right here, we can zoom in and we'll see that there's a lot of cameras. So let's take a look at a camera. And there's a camera there. And we can show a video. And so most of the major highways in Florida have cameras located, and you can check out the traffic in a particular area. So I said, well, if Florida has that, what about other states? So I'm suggesting that you take the live traffic cameras and then whatever your state or province is and put it right after that and do a search. And let's see a few of the ones that I came up with. There's Colorado. And if you take a look at the Colorado one, you'll see down here it says web cameras. When you click on that, you will see an area here where you can click on what you're looking for. So if I click on cameras, you will see that it populates with a lot of different cameras. Now, not all states work the same way as Florida does. Some of them only show you a snapshot of a particular moment. Some of them show several snapshots in a row. But let's take a look at what we've got here. So let's take, I don't know this area, so I'll just click on it, and there is a camera shot of I-25, and it's 0.2 miles south of Palm Creek Parkway. You'll notice that it's standing still. If I click on it, it becomes a live video. I can go to the next camera down the road, click on it, and I'm seeing a live video there. Okay, let's stop this. Let's go to the next one here, and this happens to be California. And you can see that there's a lot of cameras here. Let's just zoom in on any one. I don't know the area, but let's just click on it. Click on the start here. Click here. And you're watching it live there as well. It's telling it what the weather is, gives you more information, says where it is. And it is live right now. So we'll stop that. Then we'll go, I checked Delaware. Let's take a look at Delaware. You can see there's a whole bunch there. Let's click on one of the cameras there. It's live. And you can see sun setting, so it's getting a little dark. But it is Delaware. Let's close that. And I checked Texas. And again, there's a whole bunch here. And what they do is, I believe these are state law for fender benders. So let's see if we can find a camera here. These look like strictly a photograph. But again, you can play with it, see what you get. You might be able to get live access. Let's take a look at Ottawa. Now, this site, traffic cams, we're going to take a look at a few things in traffic cams, but you'll notice here that that was an ad. So you got to be careful what you click on. But as we zoom in, we can click on something here and click on that. And we want to close that because that was an ad. And there is the Old Ottawa Highway near Nicholas Street. And it looks like it is not a video, strictly a picture. What I want to show you here is down below this. We scroll down, we see several pictures and so on, but we'll see all of the states. You can pick whatever state that you're in and take a look at it using the website traffic-cams.com, but note that there are a lot of advertisements and be careful what you click. So when it says start, that's an ad. You can move it out of the way, but it'll come back. But you can go to any state. If you want to go to Michigan, you'll see all of the cameras in Michigan, and they're loading now. And these are certain cameras in Michigan. And you can find various locations. That is webcams for traffic. Try it for your area and see if you have cameras available. I'm Hewie Poplock.
Here we go.
Thanks, Hewie. I'm sure there'll be lots of questions about that. I have a few for you, but we'll do those in the Q&A. Ray, just before I say goodbye to, I'm just going to say goodbye to YouTube, our YouTube guests, and then we'll get you going, okay? If you are over on our YouTube feed, thank you for coming. We do appreciate you. Don't forget, I put in the chat the links for the premiere service, which will be starting at 1:30. We'll see you again next week. If you want to come over to our Zoom meeting, we're happy to have you. We still have lots of room in our Zoom meeting for you if you want to participate in the Q&A. All right, take it away, Ray, and we'll see what...
All right. So Bob has already guessed before I even started to put this together who I was going to write about this week. He knows my routine pretty well. Of course, Loretta Lynn, and she was truly a coal miner's daughter. Now, there's not enough room on this page or even several others for me to write all the accolades country superstar Loretta Lynn, named after movie star Loretta Young, received during her lifetime. Throughout her career, she became a living icon and arguably one of the most influential female singers of her day. Born in Butcher Hollow, Kentucky in 1932, Loretta Webb was the oldest daughter and second of 8 children. The youngest sibling was born 19 years later, and we all know her as Crystal Gayle. When Lynn was only 15 years old, she married a young man she had known for a month's time. He was known by the nickname Doolittle, and they stayed married until he died in 1996. It has been said that the happiness and heartache of her married years, including bearing and raising 6 children, led to the inspiration of her songwriting. Now, by the 1960s, she was part of the Nashville music scene, and in 1967 had her first of 16 #1 hits. Lynn had a focus on themes related to women's issues and the double standards of the time for men and women. While some radio stations would not play her songs, she continued this approach and went on to become a legendary artist. Now, in addition to her amazing solo career, Lynn also teamed up with Conway Twitty in the early 1970s, and as a duo had 5 #1 hits and were named Best Vocal Duet multiple times. Taking into consideration her musical accomplishments in the 1970s, she was named Artist of the Decade by the Academy of Country Music. Now, Loretta Lynn continued to see success into the 21st century with the release of the album Van Lear Rose, with Rolling Stone magazine voting it the second best album of 2004, along with Grammy Award for Best Country Album of the Year. As recently as last year, she released her 50th studio album, Still Woman Enough, featuring collaboration with contemporary country music artists Carrie Underwood, Reba McEntire, and Tanya Tucker. Now, my favorite quote from Loretta Lynn is when she was talking about having best friends at different times in one's lives. She said, quote, "Best friends are like husbands. You only need one at a time," unquote. Loretta's father, Ted, was a coal miner and died from a stroke at the age of 52, undoubtedly brought on by his battle with black lung disease at the time. The song she is most noted for, Coal Miner's Daughter, became the title for her 1971 studio album and then became a movie in 1980 starring Sissy Spacek and Tommy Lee Jones. The film received 7 Academy Award nominations, winning the Best Actress Award for Spacek, as well as several Golden Globe Awards. So Loretta Lynn died in her sleep in her home last week at the age of 90. Today's clip has her singing a trademark song on The Ed Sullivan Show in 1971. Times have changed.
Wow.
Thanks.
Ray. That was great. All right. It is now top of the hour. We have episode 103 finished. We're going to open it up now for Q&A. If you have any questions about any part of the show or anything you want to talk about, just put your hand up. Don't forget, at 1:30, we'll be starting the premiere service. I've put the links in the chat, and we have the three selections for you. John, go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, I had to do, and I'll go ahead and lower my hand. I just want to thank Mike for that, the solar panel thing. My mother was an eco-minded person since Rachel Carson's Silent Spring back in the early 60s. So one of the things, when they rebuilt their home in Hilton Head Island in late 70s, 78, they built a pool out for a nice little, very small pool, but nice, and it was good for my dad because he had polio and needed the exercise, and it was lovely. They had a solar panel installed to heat the pool, and it wasn't a mechanical collector that went into the electric power. It was a series of tubes that the pump from the pool would pump it up to the roof. It would heat up on the roof and then heat the pool, and 90-degree bathtub time. It was wonderful. And when the years I took care of my dad for about 8 years after Mom died, and that was my bathtub every evening. It was just amazing, and we could swim almost year round because of it. So I'm sure they're still doing that kind of thing. So there is an option out there for somebody who doesn't want to go the full, although I don't know why you wouldn't anymore. But in addition to, and like you have Mike, you had the water heater installed that way. So I think the fact that we have this technology available to us in a variety of ways and for different purposes is just fantastic. And that was a terrific presentation. And I'm a bit weary. I had a doctor's appointment this morning, so I probably won't last till the half past the hour. But I just wanted to say thank you. I don't get to these much. I get to the Thursday show, but I was glad to be able to be here today. Thank you all.
I did go back and talk a little bit about the solar collector for hot water, but I didn't go back far enough. Pre-2004, probably going back into the 90s, the space that's currently occupied by the solar panels now, we did have a set of hot water collectors for the pool.
That was just amazing.
And it worked just as you said.
Yeah.
The biggest thing, though, was in 2004. Many of us here in Florida will remember Charlie, Francis, and Jean. And Charlie loosened them. Francis blew them away. And Jean basically took the shingles off, and we had to get a new roof.
Yeah.
So my wife and I decided, we really weren't swimming that month in the winter years. So that's when we focused on hot water. And today, if I was going to do it all over again, I'd do an energy efficient hybrid water heater for the pool and then power them with my solar panels.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. That's terrific. It's just amazing that it's available to us now. It's fantastic. So this was the early 80s when they did this. So
right.
The technology has been around, but it's gotten less expensive and there's more people doing it.
Right.
Thank you, guys.
Tim, go ahead.
Yeah, this is for Mike also, and it relates to your last answer there. What happens when you have to re-roof your house with all the solar panels and that one hot water panel?
You have to have them taken down. So part of the co-op process and the bidding process and the screening process, each bidder had to provide their plan for removal and replacement. Most of the removal and replacement would be under warranty, but if the roof itself needs work, or if you've got hurricane damage, then they had to have, a cost, which I think I figured out was somewhere around $2,500. They'll come up, they'll take the panels down, assuming they're still fully functional and don't have to be destroyed, and then store them for you. And then you do your roof work, and then they'll come back and reinstall and hook them up and so on.
Mike, do you think that it would be best if you were putting in panels on your roof that you would include in your estimate putting a new shake roof or shingle roof on? I mean, if you've maybe got 7 years left on your roof, would it not be prudent to re-roof it before you put the panels on?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. And one of the questions on that list, I know I didn't have time to go through that whole screening list, is do you have an in-house roofing capability? And if not, are you partnered with local roofers? And the answer with the company I chose was yes.
Okay, thank you. Martha, go ahead.
Good day to you all. Thank you for a great program today. I enjoyed most of it. Last Friday evening on their Iowa Public TV, they showed the program of Loretta Lynn. It was about an hour and a half long. I was sat there listening to it, thinking of Ray all those times. I wondered if he was able to view that particular program, but it was great. Quite a story on the public station today. So it was interesting to see Ray's presentation today right afterwards. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Martha. I did not see that, but now that you've reminded me or pointed out to me that it was available, I'll take a look at my own PBS channel and see if they have a repeat, which they typically do. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Bob, go ahead.
About 40 years ago, when we still lived on Long Island, I had a water pump and just some black tubing that I spiraled across our garage. They took the water out from the pool, then went through all that spiraling and back into the pool. That added about 2 months worth of swimming time out in Long Island. When everybody else had their pool closed, our kids were still swimming. And that was just gravity feeding it through the black tube and the sun doing its work.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Bob. And Chris Uzinski.
Hello, folks. I have a question. I'm curious about the co-op. Was it an open co-op enrollment? Whether do you had to put the money up in front to join the co-op? How many people were in the co-ops? Briefly describe the co-op and how it operated with regard to the process of making contracts.
In this presentation, prior presentations, and one of the newsletters, I've got a link to the Solar United Neighbors site. So they formed about 10 years ago, and they coordinate nonprofit. They coordinate solar co-ops throughout the United States. They're not in Canada yet. So anybody can join the co-op. The actual membership is free, but they do ask for a donation, which I didn't mind doing. And then what you do is you join the Solar United Neighbors, and then the co-op itself, when it's formed, is free. I know there's about 5 active co-ops in the state of Florida right now. So you can either be an active participant, as I was. As I said, I was recruited to help evaluate the proposals, but I could have been a passive member and just said, okay, I'll join, wait for them to come up with the bidder. And the one that was chosen was about 1 out of 10 bidders that did actually bid. And then it comes back to me as the homeowner. I can do absolutely nothing, no obligation. Or once I've seen what the winning bids are and seen what the basic prices are, then I contact the winning bidder, and he came over and just gave me the
Are these co-ops regional by distance? And is there any maximum number of the regional co-ops memberships? I'm confused about, you said it's national, but are there regional groups that like
Yes.
only within your own community, or is it not just your HOA? Is it beyond that? How does it work?
No, it's usually by county. We're a very dense group here in Central Florida. So there's one for Orange County, there's one for Seminole County. And some of the other areas, they might, like Miami, I know that they're by cities. And I don't believe there's a maximum. I don't think they've ever cut off, but they usually open it up for something like 90 days, and it's a time basis.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And Hewie, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that when I was looking at different cameras, I did check the Vancouver Island, and they do have some cameras. And I looked at one at Comox Road, but in the essence of time, I wasn't able to include it with my presentation.
Yes, we have cameras over here as well. I was wondering, Hewie, is it possible on those cameras to see license plate numbers?
Not really. And it's not for that. And I know the ones here in Florida, it says they don't record them, and they don't keep the information. It's just to check. And this is when you listen to the traffic reporters on different radio and TV stations, they're looking at the same cameras, but usually in a great big bank, and they can see all of them, and they can pick out which ones, oh, there's an accident on that road, and that's how they can follow up on it as well.
Thanks. Bill, go ahead.
Just to add to what Huey was saying, and then I have a question, but our toll roads have cameras pointed to license tags. So our toll roads are no longer manned, and they are, if you don't have a pike pass or toll pass, then they take a picture of your license plate and send you a bill.
Yeah, they do that in Florida too.
Oh, they do that there. And my question is for Mike. Mike, are the solar panels compatible with metal roofs?
Yes. There's different roof structures. Obviously, Florida does have a large number of communities using metal roofs, and they do have that capability. A little more difficult, but still included, are the tile roofs, which are very popular in Florida. And I have a good friend who did do an installation with the same contractor. So I went over and watched them install at his house, and they actually have, as part of the racking system, they have these assemblies that have that same tile structure, and they can even color it to match the tile roof.
Thank you.
Carl, go ahead.
Hi. Well, my daughter used my car to go on vacation and 4th of July. She went to Washington and for 4th of July, which was a moving experience. But the reason I'm bringing it up is because she went on a number of toll roads in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. And after she came back, I'm getting all these bills in the mail because the car's in my name. And she was really upset, Bill, because they don't have anybody there to any way to pay when you're there. And I'm thinking of all the hundreds or thousands of tourists that come through. They must have a huge billing department.
I don't know how it works, but I know here all our toll roads have for most of them, they've replaced the ticket takers or toll, I don't know what they're called, but with the camera machinery.
Yeah, they don't even offer an option. You know, you just
Right.
there's nobody there, and if you don't have a pre-pass, which of course they encourage, which makes sense for residents, but for tourists, there's a lot of tourists going in that area. That's all I have.
Go ahead, Chris. Chris, go ahead.
I have another question about the solar. It seems like a lot of things we buy lately have RFI coming in that's screwing up our antenna TV, which we're pulling in from very long distances away, and including sometimes it's just the LED lights in the room. It can be the MiFi systems. It could even be the amplifiers that are amplifying the TV signal itself. So the question is there any data or information for those of us that are still not hooked up to a wire for our TV and other things, as far as what the RFI problems there, if there are any, with the solar units, I forgot what you call them, the amplifiers, et cetera, that are on your roof and other places. What's the story with RFI on solar?
I took a very close look at the microinverters that were on this particular setup, and they all looked like they were shielded. The cables that you saw that were going up there were shielded. The communications with the first group or phase that I used was Zigbee. And I'm sure Hewie will recall that particular format for the smart devices. And the second group is using a different format. I don't remember exactly which standard it is, but all of those transmissions are done along the electrical power cable itself.
Most of that, I'm a ham operator, and where we have that problem, it's because of the inverters, you know, that converted from DC to AC.
Yes, thank you, KD5QBY.
Irving, go ahead.
You're muted. Irving, you're muted.
Okay, as a Florida sunbird, I'm able to get a sun pass online, so I don't have any problems when I drive into Florida if I want to use any of their toll roads.
Yeah, that's a prepaid plan. You put money up front, and that just takes money from them. I think I maintain a balance. If it gets under $10, it goes back. That charges me 40, and then it takes money out as each time I go through one of the toll booths.
Dave, go ahead. You're muted. No, I guess you're not muted. We're having problems with your audio. Can't hear you.
I think his mic for Zoom is not the same as what's being used.
While you're waiting for that, I'll just add to what Hewie said. The Florida toll system has evolved over the years. I think it's now a 3-stage system, you've got a simple little sticker that you put on, which is sort of an EFI proximity sticker. Used to be a little device on your windshield, which they still have. And then they now have a box that is good up the entire East Coast, all the way up to Maine, which includes all of the toll roads in between. And I did take a trip about 5 or 6 years ago and got one of those boxes and was able to, do all of the tolls, especially the high tolls in the National Capital Region going across the Delaware Memorial Bridge, New Jersey Turnpike, Connecticut Turnpike, et cetera, going all the way up to Maine.
Dave, did you get your microphone working?
How about now?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, there's a big problem for tourists that come into Florida. They go down to Orlando, rent a car, drive around, go through these toll booths. They don't have a sticker, so they take a license plate picture of the car. The bill gets sent to the rental car company. The rental car adds a surcharge up to it. And these people then get home and get a bill. Oh, then when you turn the car, they get this bill. Well, you got you owe us $300 for the rental car. And, well, you owe us a lot of money for the toll boats you went through. So people who come down here, tourists, get really screwed by our system.
Well, it's not screwed. They just have to pay it a different way. I had a similar problem when I went to New Jersey one time. I was using my GPS and it said keep left, and I kept left, and it put me in the toll free using the sticker or license, whatever they had, lane, and it was so much traffic I couldn't get over to where I could pay. And yes, they sent a bill to the license plate, which was the rental car company. They in turn sent me a bill, which I had to pay, and a ticket, by the way.
Bill James.
Oh, I was just going to add, here in Oklahoma and Texas and Kansas, there's been those 3 states, we can travel freely between them with one of those proximity stickers that's being used. So a lot of states are having agreements between them where it's easy to travel without having to have multiple toll stickers.
Yeah, I would imagine eventually it'll be reciprocal between states, and it'll be one ticket or one license plate or whatever it is, and it should only it'll be charged directly to you.
Go to New Mexico. We don't have any toll roads.
You have roads.
Oh,
Chris,
we have
Chris,
roads, and we have good roads, but we don't have toll roads.
Yeah.
And I know every time I go to Texas to visit our friends, I always wind up eventually getting one of those things in the mail. Do I have to pay for the toll on the toll roads that I use in Texas? But we have none in New Mexico.
And for those of you who visit Florida, you can get one that you can take from car to car and put it in. So you prepay it and you're good.
Chris Rosinski, the last question.
Okay, I'll just make some comments here. We have to have 3 of those devices, and we have a car and a motorhome. So, and the system isn't too smart because there's a class 4H, which is high, which is a different rate than a class 4 low. So when we go out in the motorhome, we got to go make sure we have the right transmitter in it, because if we're only with a motorhome alone, it's one transmitter. If with a motorhome alone, it's 2. It's another account with a different transmitter. And if we have the car separately, it has its own transmitter. So the system isn't smart enough to be able to look at it and to tell which kind of vehicle we have. So we only have to have one transmitter. So we have to have 3 different accounts and 3 different transmitters. And when we have the 2 in the motorhome, we have to put it in a special bag they give us, because if it's anywhere in the motorhome, it's the wrong one, it picks it up for what it's worth. It gets complicated.
It's complicated. Well, excuse me. Thanks everyone for coming today. It is now well past our closing time. Don't forget, our premiere service starts at hour. We'll see everybody maybe on Thursday for our show, and we'll talk about new TVs. We'll talk about do you need a new TVs, because we have, of course, Black Friday coming up, and hopefully I'll get my Omni TV from Amazon by then. And I'm going to do Kathleen's trick and leave some little treats out for the Amazon fairies, and hopefully I'll get my TV by Thursday. Anyway, we'll talk everyone. See you next week. Same time, same place. Bye now.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.